Biscuits and tea.
Oh, did you? Oh yeah. You want to see? You want to hear the best thing too?
Yes.
So, anonymous,
Yep. He's
anonymous.
back. Back.
I haven't heard none in a
That's
while.
that's when I was like, okay, this shit might be real. This shit might be an issue.
What is going on?
Because so you've heard of anonymous, right?
Of course, yeah. I know.
So they posted the very cryptic. They were cryptic videos. They posted one. I think it was either yesterday or 2 days ago.
Okay.
About pretty much saying, and they have a little official Twitter that I guess somebody runs, whoever. But pretty much the video was saying like, we agree with you guys, like the police brutality needs to stop and it's not right. So we're gonna start exposing people. So then they brought Mr. Donald Trump into it. And
Who brought him into it? Anonymous.
Anonymous and Mr. Epstein. So
no.
let me go to the
Oh,
go to
no.
the
Oh
official
no.
tweets. Yeah, that's why I was like,
Oh,
okay, the shit's
no.
getting real.
Michael, did you watch that
Let's pull
Epstein
it up
documentary?
really quick. I haven't watched it yet, but I know I need to.
Yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
enjoy it.
I know I need to.
Yeah. While he's looking at that, just so you know, over the course. So I actually knew. So I don't know how old you were, be in 2000, whatever. That first, the first case was going on was at like 2005 ish, 2003. So you're pretty young. You wouldn't have been paying any attention to it. But I can remember actually hearing that, and because I listened to this podcast called Mysterious Universe, they talk about all these. It would be considered like a fringe conspiracy theory. They were basically like, there's this guy out there who got all this money, who's running basically a pedophile ring across all this, and he like didn't go to jail. And he like Bill Clinton and all these people are like hanging out, and he has an island, and no one knows really how he got his money. Like it was like a conspiracy theory. Like even that this guy exists, they're like he's got this plane. They call it whatever it is that they call it, And I remember, and I remember then going to like, how you go on the rabbit hole. I started clicking on links, reading. I was like 2008, something like that, So I knew shit was going down, and I knew that there was more to the story, which we can talk about when we finish up with Anonymous, basically. But like that whole thing, yeah, we should just hold on. We should hold on for it. Yeah, did you find it, Michael?
Okay, yeah. So all right, so we'll start here. So they made their post, the video, like I said, talking about all that stuff. But first thing they did was they actually were able to take down the Minneapolis PD website.
Oops.
Wow.
Oof.
Oops.
So that's down.
What did they replace it with? Did they just put it? They just put something up there, or did they?
I think they just took it offline completely.
See, but this is sorry to stop you in there, but it's going to mobilize
go ahead.
because once again, like you said, the amount of anonymous. I mean, clearly I don't know the specifics, but from what I understand, it's a group of non-centralized, essentially, hackers and a bunch of people who are activists as well, with capabilities like this, from hacking to whatever, understanding of different government movements, whistleblowers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they have the capabilities to do this. Well, just like you were saying, they don't have jobs, and these other people are also going to have even more time, based on the fact that the whole world for the last 2 or 3 months basically shut down. So it's going to mobilize all of these people to strike even more. There's going to be more of them available. There's going to be more people at home, even people with the capabilities of doing this, whether or not they work, even if they work for different governments, or if they work at Google and now they're working at home, and now they have a little other, they have some other time to use their stuff to devote this to Anonymous, on their separate browser and separate,
Which, let's not pretend that that's not already happening. Let's not pretend that Google and Facebook aren't in contact with Anonymous and don't already just help them get this information as well. Like,
possible. There could be 2 or 3 guys in there.
I got it all now.
Okay.
So it starts with Donald Trump saying the Antifa and the radical left don't lay blame on others. So Anonymous quotes it and said, "You had Jeffrey Epstein killed to cover up your history of child trafficking and rape. We have the receipts." Hold on, that's one.
This is to Trump?
No, this is Anonymous again.
I know, but speaking to Trump, or just speaking in general?
Trump's tweet. They quoted Trump's tweet.
Ooh.
So then, in case you're wondering what Russia has on the real Donald Trump, It's blackmail, organized crime, in particular human trafficking, human and child trafficking and rape. Maybe the police should start shooting protesters and arrest the real criminals. Should
Ooh.
stop shooting protesters. Hold on, and then it gets better. We challenge the U.S. authorities and Interpol to open up an investigation into Donald Trump and his involvement in the Jerry Epstein child trafficking network that is very much active and has compromised intelligence and security across Europe and has Five Eyes via blackmail.
Yeah, Five Eyes isn't Five Eyes is the intelligence network that is USA, Canada, UK, Australia, and New Zealand. I think so. That's like we all share intelligence with each other because we're allies. Uh,
Yeah.
So, okay, which is the perfect segue because now you guys both haven't. Tyler, you haven't watched this documentary either on Epstein. You don't have Netflix, I'm guessing. All right, but at the end, the documentary basically does a great job of telling you who Epstein was, who Ghislaine Maxwell is, his right hand girl, and the whole sex trafficking thing and the girls and this whole sex ring, right? And it gets to the end, and it's a chance for the women that got raped. Virtually every single one of them that had contact with him was essentially raped, or molested in some way. Virtually every single one of them. So the documentary was also a way for them to get back at them, and it kind of takes on their story. My only qualm with the documentary was that once we'd done that, all right, great. The women have said what they needed to say. They really are obviously pissed off because Jeffrey Epstein is dead and they can't get to see him rot in jail, speak to him in front of him, some of them, et cetera, et cetera. The documentary ends. There's a point in the documentary where they don't ever talk about any of this, why he's doing it, who he's involved with, what community. But then they go at the end. They have one of the ladies who spent a lot of time with Epstein, was one of the girls that was with him for a long. She goes, "You guys know those weird looking stones that have kind of little tiny holes in them? They look like little air holes, air bubbles, but they're strong pieces of stone or rock. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? You can maybe find them like in a seashell type thing. Help me explain this type of cement, or like, all right, so you know what the microphone looks like right here? It's got little tiny holes. Or look at what Michael's what do you call that thing? The thing is protecting it. You know how it's got little holes in it?
Yeah.
There's a type of stone like that. Well, the lady goes, in Epstein's New York house, I think it was, she's like, okay, so the stone in the house is exactly like this. And there are little holes in the cement. So you would never actually think that. But Epstein has had cameras basically through little wires into all over his house, all over. And she one time brought her into the room where they had all of these screens, which basically had everything. Because what would happen, obviously, you guys know about, is it Prince Andrew B, the guy from the UK. So one of the princes, obviously, he had been doing this for years, clearly, and it's almost, the evidence he got there is just absolutely ridiculous, that he's been, engaging in all sorts of insane madness with girls as young as 14. And so, but the point is that I'm trying to get at is that after the whole thing, they just go, yeah, and he was blackmailing all sorts of government officials, probably, and this is what it was. The end. Whoa! What do you mean? The end of the documentary? There's only 4 episodes. You gotta. Wait a second. I want to know how has he been affecting? How much of history has changed because this guy was able to go, no, you're not gonna vote for that. Or you're not gonna do that. This is what's gonna happen. So that's the real story. I'm not taking anything away from the women and what they went through or anybody else that was affected by it. But I need to know who he's blackmailing. Yeah, I need to understand why.
What happened? Literally, what did he do to get us to this point? Because he was involved in this whole last election. Everything. He affected everything. He had billions of dollars that affects everything. Money. If you control the money, what?
Yeah, I need to get some more understanding of who and what.
I still don't even know how he got money, dude. I watched the whole documentary. I still don't quite understand where he got all of his money. I still don't.
Well, they didn't say it. So it's the guy who owns. He stole it. Essentially, is what they were alluding to. Is that I think he stole the money. He was found. I can't remember the name of the guy and who he's still around. Is an older guy, and he was in some. He was like Wisconsin or, regardless, he stole his money. and he'd been found out to be doing illegal stuff throughout. He was on Wall Street for a little bit. He had a job. They caught him there. He was doing other stuff. He stole it essentially, and then was able to control it. Now the problem is that he stole it from one of his mentors, and I can't remember his name, which sucks. But the mentor didn't press charges.
Wow.
Now, I don't know anything about this guy, and it's good because I haven't said his name yet. Can I remember? But the only reason you don't press charges on somebody who steals millions and millions of dollars on you is possibly because he has something on you. I don't know. I'm just throwing a theory out there. I'm just saying.
He just has enough power to make up something that is believable enough. Whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you're at his house. This is the other problem. He would give money. Epstein would give hundreds of thousands of dollars to artists, scientists, because it was really hard for those guys to get money. And obviously, I think at the end they said he had about. His estate was roughly worth $600 million. So he had a ton of money, and he would give it to these scientists who couldn't get funding from certain things, which also compromises you because if you accept a whole bunch and now all of them are turning around and then going, obviously, I don't really know this guy, which is also true. It's terrible, but he also did a brilliant job, this Epstein guy, of compromising everybody because he gives you 100,000. He takes a picture with you. Then he goes and does all this other stuff. And so now you're compromised. Also, you can't say, oh, you don't know him. How much do you know him? Look at this picture with him. You guys seem good here, seem like good friends. And it could be very well true that you're a scientist. You just want to understand what's going on at the bottom of the ocean. We talked about this on the other podcast. You got $50 million. Can I have some of it? Yes. And you don't think where it's coming from. You don't care that the guy has been convicted of that. You don't ever think it's going to blow up in your face. You just want to do your research. But you're compromised now. Dude, this is, we may be at the beginning of some really crazy stuff. I'm happy for one end to see that they're not done with that because saying it's a conspiracy that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself it's not a conspiracy. It's logical to think that powerful people murder people who do things against that's a logical statement.
All the time.
That's not a conspiracy. You say conspiracy theory for deciding that Earth is flat when we have all the evidence that points that it's not. Like, that's a conspiracy theory that people are hiding that. That's more of a conspiracy. Saying that the dude probably got killed because most people in power needed him to get killed, and he clearly blackmailed people, of which I don't understand why didn't you guys investigate that?